We all know Tommy Oliver as being one of the most popular running Power Rangers, as well as being the longest running operational Ranger out there too. However, something fans have questioned a lot in the Power Rangers franchise is what happens when a Power Ranger becomes an adult? Like, yes, some Rangers lose their powers, but what happens to the ones that keep them? As an adult, you have a lot of responsibilities like a job, marriage, kids, the IRS. So could being a Power Ranger and fighting rubber monsters and being in giant mechs still be a viable option? Well, we almost found out with Tommy Oliver. Let's talk about it. Yo, what's up everybody, it's Este here, and today we're talking about the return of the Emerald Dragon, an almost made web series all about Tommy Oliver being an adult and a Power Ranger at the same time. The idea of this web series dates all the way back to the year 2013. Now, Saban Brands had just bought Power Rangers back from Disney a few years prior, and were trying to find ways to revitalize the franchise for a whole new generation. And with the 20th anniversary on the way and Tommy Oliver already returning for the legendary battle, this is one of the first times in the show that we see, Rangers can be old, but still be Power Rangers. So we gotta know two people in this story. We have Jason David Frank and Aaron Schoenke. They had worked together once on an episode of the internet show Superpower Beatdown. It's on the Bat in the Sun YouTube channel, go check it out, and it's basically a show where they put two pop culture icons, battle them out, and the fans, you guys, would decide who wins. Their first work together was White Ranger vs. Scorpion, that was released on November 7th, 2013. JDF had a big cameo in the end when the White Ranger would power down and whoop. It's Tommy, he's there. Also, real quick, if you're a new viewer of the channel, I talk about Power Rangers all the time, so subscribe and ring notification bell so you don't miss out on any single one of my videos. Also, I gotta give a shout out to the best fan base in the world, the E-Squad. E-Squad comment of the day. Leave a funny comment, put E-Squad in it, and you might be in the next video. So after being together and working together on this little short, they went over to Saban Brands and pitched this idea for a web series focusing on Tommy and his adult life. The story goes like this. Tommy Oliver returns, where he must travel into the Morphin Grid to retrieve new powers to battle a mysterious villain who has killed and collected the fallen Ranger's powers and assemble them to rule the world. Who is this new mysterious Dragon Ranger? The familiar face under the helmet might surprise you. Now, once you read the description, does this sound a little bit familiar? Lord Dragon? Anybody? This was years before the Shattered Grid story was even talked about. Like, they weren't even making Power Ranger comic books back then, so it's just mind-boggling that these ideas were already being talked about. So the show is going to be called Return of the Emerald Dragon. It was supposed to be a live-action television series as well as a comic book as well. It would feature an older version of Tommy Oliver. Now, the post I found this from on Listen Anyone Instagram describes this as kind of being like an old Logan story. You know, Logan, the X-Men. Who doesn't know Logan? I'm sorry. It was basically a story about him retiring and having a kid with Cap. It's a shame he didn't end up with Kimberly, but Kimberly did send a very heartbreaking letter in Zeo. That was sad. I wonder who would have been under that mask. Would it have been Tommy Oliver's son? Could it have been Jason, the Red Ranger? A lot of options. Anyways, besides this pitch that they sent to Saban, they even had some pictures, some concept art of what the show could have looked like. As we see here, they have a version of the new suit with a new dragon shield, which looks like it's layered, and with the original Green Ranger helmet with the golden stripe. And what it looks like to be a new Power Morpher, too pixely, I can't tell. Definitely looks more adult. I think this series, if anything, definitely would have been a more adult-oriented show. Jason David Frank has always been known to try to push the brand and even, do adult stuff safely. I remember he was against the Power/Ranger stuff, but he wanted to kind of make his own like PG-13 version in a way. There's even this picture here of the Green Ranger helmet, which in the reflection, it's Tommy in a hoodie. How mysterious. Shoutouts to Brian Morton for making all this cool artwork. This definitely looks cool. In this third picture here, we could have seen how the new dragon dagger looks like, which it's not even a dagger anymore. It's a weapon of mass destruction. And you also would have seen the evil villain of this, which I don't know, man. That helmet looks like Jason, Red Ranger. It could have been him. And the suit's red particles. He just looks evil. It just looks like the apocalypse. I'm scared. There's even concept art of an actual fight that they would have in this show, which looks like it would be on a rooftop in a city. Very urban, very dark. And look at this, Tommy with the dragons, or the dragon Zord would make a return, and it looks like it's being destroyed right now. Yikes. This show looked like it would have been a lot to do in the first place, and knowing Saban and cutting corners, I don't think they would have done that. So Saban naturally rejected this, but Aaron and JDF would still work together. They would use the idea of that gold striped Green Ranger to make a new Green Ranger suit for another superpower beatdown episode. That being Green Ranger versus Rio on November 5th, 2015. In a previous video, there was also talks about there being a Shattered Grid television show in development. I made a video all about it, but it looks like the story is very similar here. However, in 2018, 5 years after their first pitch, they would try to do it again. But this time it was because that JDF and Aaron were working with Saban brands, not even just them. We got Enway Games and also Lionsgate. They were working on a short film, Power Rangers Legacy Wars Street Fighter Street Down, which basically was an ad for Street Fighter characters in the Power Rangers game. I know, right? So they thought the opportunity was perfect because Lionsgate has their own game division, right? And Lionsgate were the ones who made the 2017 Power Rangers movie. So if they were to talk to them about this idea that they had a few years ago, and after the success of the 2017 movie, maybe they would have had a shot. So in 2018, they made this story. Tommy has been lost to the grid, and the only way to bring him back is to combine all his morphers, and that would have created a new Ranger called Ranger Prime, not to be confused with the SPD Ranger Prime. That's another failed project. Brian Warner was also the one who designed this art right here. In these pics, we see the same Ranger design, a mostly black suit with different highlights for each of the Ranger powers. We have a green version, which I would assume would be the Green Ranger, a red version for the Red Zeo, Red Turbo Ranger, a purple version for Black Dino, and white for the White Ranger. Now, it looks like this suit kind of combines a lot of Tommy's previous forms. Like you can see in the shield, obviously Green Ranger, White Ranger. It has some of the motifs of the Zeo Ranger powers if you look around the little circle there. And that power coin just looks like a combination of everything, like Green Ranger, White Ranger. It just looks so crazy. And the helmet, very similar to the previous design that we have here. Teeth, and there's a lot of gold everywhere. It's really cool to look at. However, sadly, they got denied again. Comment question of the day: what is your favorite Tommy form? I love the Green Ranger and all, but I grew up with the Black Dino Thunder Ranger, so I gotta give it to him. Let me know in the comments down below and leave a like to lock in your answer, because 1,500 likes and I'll do more videos just like this one. You're watching it right now. But their ideas weren't, used for nothing. They were actually implemented into other Power Ranger projects. 2018 was the year of Dimensions in Danger. It was made to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers, and guess who returned? Tommy Oliver. Guess what he has now? A Master Morpher, which is an upgraded version of the Power Morpher that combines all of Tommy's powers, and he can basically change into any one of them anytime he wants. And there was also a tie-in comic book novel for this, Soul of the Dragon, which was all about Tommy and how he has retired and he has his own son, and they gotta fight this new mysterious villain. You guys see where I'm coming at now? However, speaking of Soul of the Dragon, as much as it looks like their idea from 2013 finally came to life in this comic book, doesn't really quite look like that. Bat in the Sun put up this post in April 16th, 2020, mid-pandemic. I thought that was funny. Did you know that we originally pitched an old man Tommy story to Boom/Saban titled Return of the Emerald Dragon that was later turned into Soul of the Dragon? This is why JDF is credited on the project. 24 hours before its public announcement, they removed the Bat in the Sun team off the project because they felt they had changed the story enough from having to give credit. Big companies stealing from artists and not crediting them. That sucks. Sucks. That's really bad. However, Bat in the Sun did not let this demotivate them, because they would continue working with JDF, and that's when we would get Legend of the White Dragon, announced in 2019 with a release date scheduled for 2023. And if you look at these designs of the suits, basically looks like a combination of all the different concept arts that we've seen throughout this video, down to the cool mystical looking dragon head and all. So I guess this idea eventually worked out after all, even if it didn't end up in an official Power Rangers project. What do you think about this original Tommy Oliver web series? What characters would you like to see return, and what storylines would you like to see be adapted? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, ddonfuego. I'm also on Instagram, notdonfuego. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at, and of course, as always, stay awesome, everybody.
like, subscribe for more. Peace out.
Fuck.